Hello and welcome to today's live lesson. Please say hello when you come into the lesson in the chat. Okay, so we've been doing these lessons every Wednesday at 10:30 since the start of January, and I'm happy to say that they're going to continue in February as well. So I've set up 4 live lessons on Wednesdays at the same time, 10:30. You can find all of the details on my website and on my Facebook as well, in my Facebook group, Learn English with Alex. Hi, Josefa. Good morning. How are you? So yes, they're going to continue every week, and I've set up the topics and the language that we're going to look at for each one. So check out the information so you can see what's happening. And in today's lesson, we're going to look at pronunciation, and we're going to look at words which are difficult to pronounce. So we're going to make this as interactive as possible as well. And I've divided it into 3 different sections. So we're going to start off with silent letters. So I'm going to give you some words and I want you to tell me what the silent letter is. We're also going to look at the phonemic spelling of these words as well, so we can figure out, we can see in there what letter is silent and look at some different sounds as well. After that, we're going to look at pairs of words which have very similar pronunciation, sometimes just with one sound that's a little bit different, or sometimes with a little bit different stress and things like that. And then we're going to finish up with some unusual pronunciations in English. So we're going to focus on sounds throughout the lesson and the differences in some sounds and how that affects the pronunciation as well. Hi, Angie. Good morning. How are you? Uh, okay, so I think we'll get started now. So like I said, we're going to look at silent letters. Okay, so I'm going to show you some words on the screen. I'll put them in the chat box as well. And I'm not going to say the word to start with because I want you to, before I say the word and we look at the pronunciation, I want you to try to tell me what letter is silent. So I'll put the word up on the screen, decide what letter, and just put that letter into the chat box for us. So the first word that we're going to look at is this. Okay. So silent letters, can you tell me which letter is silent? So I've got a first word here on the screen and in the chat box. I'm not going to say this word yet. Like I said, I want you to try to tell me which letter is silent in the pronunciation of this word. Because this lesson is aimed at intermediate and advanced students, then some of the vocabulary I've looked at is a little bit more advanced, some of it isn't. I pick words that we can practice the pronunciation on as well. Obviously, feel free to copy my pronunciation at home or wherever you are as well. It is a pronunciation lesson, so that will help. Okay, we've only got one answer so far. So let's have a look. Does anybody else want to try to answer this? I'm going to put, to say hello. Good morning. How are you? So I'm going to put I've got the word and also the phonemic spelling of it as well, which I'm going to put, I hope that works in the chat box. Yes, it does. Okay, that's good. So here we can see this word with the phonemic spelling of it as well. So we can see from this, the pronunciation is subtle, subtle. So you can see quite easily, you can hear quite easily that the silent letter is B. So it's subtle. And because a certain percentage of English spelling and pronunciation is irregular or it's not phonetic, it doesn't always follow spelling rules. That's why, this phonemic spelling can be so useful. Oh, sorry. I pressed the button there. So the phonemic spelling can be so useful with some words that are difficult. You don't have to be able to write in this, but being able to recognize the sounds really helps with words, and also connected speech and different things that are useful. So we can see it's subtle, subtle. Yeah. So the silent letter is definitely the B. Some people might say the E is silent as well, but that's how it's pronounced at the end of the letter. So at the end of the word, sorry. So that's it's obvious here that the missing one is the B. Okay, good. Let's have a look at our next word. So again, I'm going to put the word up on the screen and in the chat box, and I want you simply to tell me what is the missing. What is the silent letter in this word here? So once you've got an idea, then put it into the chat box. Thanks, Dizzy. So what do we think about this one? What's the silent letter that we have here? Sondos, hi, thanks for joining us. Okay, so we've got some answers there. Everybody agrees that the missing, oh, Elaf, hello. Thanks for joining us. That the silent letter is C. And yes, I would agree with you. So let's have a look at the pronunciation of this here. Okay, so we can see here, pronunciation is muscle, muscle. So, one way of looking at this, I know that's what we're doing just now, talking about silent letters, but one way of looking at it is that the C is silent because it's not a hard C sound. Another way of thinking about it is that the SC comes together to have this S sound here. So it's muscle. And we can see here that actually the vowel sound that we have here is the same as in ๊sʌtl. So that's the same letter there. You get to recognize these sounds the more you practice it. Sometimes students don't like to learn these things because they feel like it's learning another alphabet, but actually, it really helps with pronunciation. So we see here muscle, yeah, which was quite similar to ๊sʌtl, yeah, with an extra sound in there as well. So muscle with the silent letter, we're saying, of C because it doesn't have that hard sound. It's S, so it's muscle, muscle. Like I said, feel free to repeat after me these words because it's going to help you. Muscle, muscle. Okay, let's have a look at the next word as well. So we're going to have a few of these words where we talk about the silent letters before we go on to look at pairs of words which are very similar. Okay, so here's our word here. Next one. Once again, I'm not going to say the word. I want you to tell me what is the silent letter here. What is the silent letter in this? Okay, so we've got some answers coming in here. Anybody else want to have a guess? Or maybe not a guess, actually. Give us the answer. So we've got some different answers here. Okay, so we're going to look at the spelling. Some people say N, some people say G, and it is G. Yes, so well done, Angie. The correct spelling here is gnome, gnome. So we can see here quite easily how useful this is. Hi, Michaela. Thank you for joining. Hello. Hello from Scotland, from Glasgow. So we can quite easily see here with the phonemic spelling what the missing or what the silent letter is here. The G is not pronounced at all. It's gnome. Yeah. And we can see here the double consonant sound, the diphthong as well. Gnome. So you see here how the vowel goes through these two sounds. Gnome. Yeah. And finishes on the M sound. Gnome. Yeah? So some people see this word and they automatically say gnome or something like that, but actually it's gnome. Gnome. If you're wondering what a gnome is, it's one of those little creatures that people put in the gardens, you know, with the red hat, and sometimes they're fishing and things like that. It's not hugely important, but it is a good word to focus on the pronunciation. So that's gnome with silent G. Okay, let's look at the next one that we have. We have 4 more of these with silent letters before moving on to the next exercise. So same thing again. We have the word here. Can you tell me what is the silent letter here? Okay, so look at this word and tell me what is the silent letter. Water is important when you're doing a pronunciation lesson. Okay, so we've got one answer in. Let's have a look. Okay, 2 answers in, both say W. Three answers, everyone is saying W is the silent letter. And so if we look at phonemic spelling of this, then we can see, yes, that the W is silent, and so the pronunciation is rec, rec. So we can see here the short vowel sound as well. We can see the phonemic spelling of this is a lot shorter than the actual spelling as well. Rec, rec. Okay. Obviously, different languages are different. Some languages pronounce all of the letters that you see. English, unfortunately, tends to be a little bit more complicated than that, and you know this phonemic spelling really helps in these cases. Okay, let's look at another word which is a classic one that people, students, tend to mispronounce. So what is the silent letter in this word here? Okay, we're getting some answers through already. What is the silent letter in that word? Okay, good. Lots of correct answers coming in here. Okay, let's have a look at the, yes, everyone is right. But we can see here the pronunciation of this one. A couple of interesting things to talk about here. Sorry. Okay, so we can see here pronunciation is castle. Castle. Some interesting things to look at the pronunciation here. First of all, that the stress is at the start. Castle. We've got the a sound here, the 2 dots after it, which obviously mean that it's a long sound, and we're missing any kind of T sound like we said. So it's castle. Castle. Focusing on as well the long a. Castle. Castle. Okay, but again, we can see how easily the phonemic script shows us what sound or what letter is missing from there, as well as the long vowel sound as well. Okay, the next one. Okay, so there we go. This is the next word. I want you to think, what is the silent letter here? Okay, this is first, Enge's way as well. Sondos, Michaela. Okay, lots of answers coming through. So let's have a look at the, yes, okay, everybody knows that one. Okay, So here we have the phonemic spelling as well, not, not. So as you can see, there's no k, there's no k sound there at all. So it's not, not. Phonemic spelling is also good for homophones, which are words which sound the same but have different spelling. So if we have the negative word not, N-O-T, without the K, it will have exactly the same phonemic spelling as that because the pronunciation is exactly the same, not and not. Yeah. Okay, let's look at our last word with a silent letter before we move on to pairs of words with similar pronunciations. Okay, so there is our next word. Which letter is silent? This is an easy one, obviously. We've got lots of answers straight away. Okay, good. Let's have a look at the pronunciation of this word here. Okay, so here we have the pronunciation salmon, salmon. We can see the different vowel sounds we have here. Salmon, salmon. Yeah, and obviously we can see that there is no L sound there at all, like you said. So it's salmon, salmon. Okay, good. Okay, as you can see with those words there, if you're unsure if there's a silent letter in a word, the best place to find out is just a dictionary, because you can go on to, for example, Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary online. You can type in a word, it comes up with the exact phonemic spelling. That's where I took all of these ones from, and it tells you, if you can recognize these sounds at least, or sounds that are missing, it's a great way to see all of these silent sounds in English. Okay, so just now we're going to look at 4 pairs of words, and they're words which are quite similar in pronunciation, completely different in meaning, but quite similar in pronunciation. So I'm going to put up on the screen a pair with numbers 1 and 2, and I'm going to say one of them. Okay, so I want you to listen to what I'm saying, and then you have to say if I'm saying word 1 or if I'm saying word 2. Okay, I'm going to show you just the words, the spelling of the words, not the phonemic spelling, because then that would be too easy, obviously. So after we've decided which one I'm saying, then we'll look at the phonemic spelling of these words and talk about the difference in the sounds and what makes it different as well, the sounds and sometimes the stress as well. Okay, so I'm just going to put up our first pair of words. Okay, so we've got pairs of words with similar pronunciation. Which one am I saying? Okay, so you have to, once I say the word, you have to write in the chat box 1 or 2. That's all you have to do. Raise, raise. So is this 1 or 2? Raise, raise. Excuse me. Raise. Okay, so we've got different answers here. I'm going to put the phonemic spellings up. I said raise, raise, and it was number 2. So well done to those who said that. Obviously, these words are very similar, so you can, mix them up. But listen to both of the words when I say them just now. Race, raise, race, reɪz, reɪs, reɪz. And if we look at the phonemic spelling of them, we can see that there's only one sound that is different, because we've got the R, the vowel sound is the same, and then it's S or Z. Reɪs, reɪz, reɪs, and reɪz. And the difference between these sounds is that the second one is voiced. So we use the vibration from our voice box to make that. So it's reɪz. If you say that Z, you can feel a vibration here. And this one isn't voiced. I'm not sure you can see that. So the S, it's just like air coming through. S, reɪs, reɪz. So you can, if you try to say those words just now, in the first one you can just feel the air coming through your mouth, and the second one you can feel the vibration in your throat, and that's the difference between S and Z. Z. Reɪs, reɪz. Okay, good. Let's have a look at the second pair. So I'll put the words up on the screen. And again, you have to say one or two. Which one am I saying? Dessert, 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 dessert. Okay, so is this one or two? I couldn't decide which one to say there. I was thinking about the difference in pronunciation myself. Okay, so dessert is number 2. So we can look here. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Desert, dessert. Desert, dessert. Desert, dessert. Okay, so an interesting thing that we can look at here is the stress, where the stress is. So desert, the stress is at the start of the word. And dessert, the stress is here, dessert. So these words are quite similar. Apart from that, the vowel sound is different as well. Not a huge difference in the vowel sound, but the main difference here is the stress, where it is. Desert, dessert. Yeah, so you can notice the difference in that. But everyone got it right that I was saying dessert, not desert. Okay. Good. Let's look at another pair of words. Okay. Force. Force. Is this one or two? Force. Force. Okay, we've got some answers coming in here. Force. Force. Okay, so everyone is right. I was saying the first one. Let's have a look at the difference in the pronunciation. Force. So we see here, again, these two words are exactly the same apart from the last sound that we have. So we have force, which has the S sound we spoke about earlier. And then we have fourth, which finishes with this sound here, this strange looking sound that we see like that with the line in the middle. And this is th. So it's force, fourth. So it's th, th. A good trick if you have problems with that, what I always say to people is put your tongue between your teeth. So it's fourth, th, th, fourth. So you finish like that. And people, sometimes try to eat their tongue or bite their tongue or something when they're saying that. But that's the difference, because you say force, you can see my tongue is all the way back in my mouth. Yeah. But with fourth, it finishes here, right between my teeth. Fourth, fourth. So we have force and fourth. And the only difference here is that last sound. S and th. So it's force and fourth. Okay. And this sound here, this th sound like that, we're going to look at that again in our last example of pairs of words which are similar in pronunciation. So let's have a look at our last one. After this, we're going to look at some words which are difficult to pronounce. Okay. So let's have a look at the last pair here. And again, just say one or two. Fɔôt, fɔôt. One or two. Fɔôt, fɔôt. Fɔôt. Okay, well done. Let's have a look at the pronunciation of these words. Okay, is everyone saying two? And you're correct. I was saying fɔôt, which is the second one here. Okay, so we have these two words here. We can see straight away, looking at the phonemic spelling, that again, there's only one difference in the sound. So here we have thought, with the sound we practiced in the last pair. Thought, putting your tongue between your teeth. Thought, thought, and fought. So it's thought and fought. Fought. With this sound, then you can put your top teeth on your bottom lip. Fought, fought. But with this first sound here, your tongue comes between your teeth. Thought, 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 fought, thought, fought. Okay, good. Well done. You managed to get most of them, I think, almost all of them, which is definitely good. So you're doing well, or maybe it's just my perfect Scottish pronunciation. Who knows? Okay, so let's move on to the last group of words that we're going to look at. So we looked at silent letters and the phonemic spelling of them. We've compared some pairs of words as well. Okay, Michaela, no problem. Thank you for coming. Hopefully see you soon. Well, hopefully see you in one of the lessons soon. No problem. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. Okay, so we're just going to look at another 6 words, okay? And look, these are words which are typically difficult to pronounce just because of some unusual pronunciation, and we're going to look at how the phonemic spelling of these words can help you say them in each case. Okay, so this time when we look at the 6 different words, you don't have to do anything. All I want you to do is focus on the pronunciation and say them at the same time as me at home. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. Okay, so these are unusual pronunciations, things that students often have issues with. So we've got this word here. If we look at the pronunciation, first thing that we can see is that it's actually easier to pronounce than it seems, because it's quite a short pronunciation. So it's ʻthʌrə, ʻthʌrə, ʻthʌrə. So if we look, at the long spelling with all those vowels and things like that, and the GH, people often look at that word and think, oh my God, how do you spell that? But it's actually very simple if you can read the phonemic spelling. Thorough, thorough, thorough. Try to say it with me. Thorough, thorough, thorough. So it's thorough is the pronunciation of that word there. Let's have a look at the next one, which is another classic one which students, and I have to say some native speakers, find difficult as well. Not me, of course, but you know, some native speakers. So we can look at this one here. So it's rural, rural. So we see here this combined vowel sound that we have here, the diphthong, rural, rural. So again, if we can, if we look at this, it looks like it's quite difficult to pronounce, but then when we've got this guide, it helps us. So it's rural. So we can see the difference between this complicated or this combined vowel sound here and then the second vowel sound, which is simple. So it's rural, rural. So, that's really the first vowel sound is really the complicated part, and it's rural, rural, rural. Yeah. So when we see it written like that, it's still a difficult word to say, but it makes it a little bit easier as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the next word. Again, a classic one that students sometimes have difficulties with, but if you can see the phonemic spelling, then it makes it so much easier. Yeah, so there's the word there, and it's receipt, receipt. So we can see here the stress. We can see here, first of all, we have a short vowel sound, and then second of all, we have a long vowel sound. So all of this helps us in the pronunciation. Receipt, and this sound as well. So it's receipt, short vowel, long vowel. Receipt, receipt. So this one's longer, E, receipt. So again, we can see just how useful it is to be able to read these spellings, the phonemic spellings, and how it makes what seems like a really difficult word actually quite simple to pronounce once we've got these. Okay, and let's look at another word. We've got 3 more to do. This is a word that some native speakers find difficult to say as well. I saw an interview recently with a famous actor who said that this was one word he just couldn't say. I'm not really sure why, but maybe if he learned phonemes, then it would help. So this word is penguin, penguin. I think a lot of people find this part difficult. So you've got the win, penguin. So it's the combination of this so this that looks like an N with a little bit of a tail. So penguin, penguin. Yeah, penguin is a difficult word to pronounce, and it is a difficult word to pronounce. But if we can see the phonemic spelling, then it really helps us a lot. Okay, and the second last word is this. Okay, so a couple of things make this difficult. First of all is the consonant sound at the start, which is like k, k, and then we've got this cluster of vowels here. So it's choir, 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 choir. So the phonetic spelling of this, the phonemic spelling of this does make it look difficult as well. But if we know that these two sounds here, choir, choir, it helps us to pronounce it. Also, a useful thing, I was talking about the Oxford Advanced dictionary online. Useful thing is there you can click on, it gives you the phonemic spelling, you can click on it and it says it for you as well. Which is really good. And in fact, it says it's got two options. You can listen to it in a British accent and you can listen to it in an American accent, which is great to see the differences, because there are differences very often in vowels and things like that. Okay, and the last one that we have for today is a very difficult word to say. So let's have a look at how the phonemes can help us to say this word. Okay, so it's I can't say it. Phenomenon. That's it. I couldn't decide whether to put this word in or not, because I knew that I would say it wrong. Normally I can say this word, but the pressure's getting to me. So it's phenomenon. So we can see if we break it up, phenomenon. Yeah, so this is typically a word that lots of students, lots of native speakers, I know some native speakers who have problems with this word, and we can see if we break this up, the different sounds, how easy it is to say phenomenon, 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 phenomenon. Yeah, so that's a difficult word, which if we break it down, if we try to say these individual sounds in the phonemic spelling, it really helps. Okay, so basically the lesson from today is phonemic spelling. Learning how to say these things can really help with your pronunciation, because if you have some difficult words, you can have a look on a dictionary, a normal dictionary or an online dictionary, and it's really going to help you figure out how to say those words and where you're going wrong, if there's a silent letter, what the difference is between two similar words, and things like that. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you were saying these words along with me at home and your family were wondering what you were doing. But well done. You got a lot of the right answers in exercises 1 and 2, so that's nice to see. Please like this video. Click like on the video if you can, if you liked it, if you feel like you learned something today. The next live lesson will be next Wednesday at the same time. Check out my social media to see what's happening with those things every Wednesday, and videos every Tuesday and Thursday on Facebook as usual. So thanks for watching. If you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, Learning This with Alex, please do. And subscribe to the channel, like all my videos. Feel free to comment on the videos as well. I'll get back to you on these things. So yes, thank you very much and have a nice day. Hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.